Day 1. I arrive in the forest with only a small backpack and a bottle of water. The trees are tall, and the path is narrow. I feel nervous because I have never spent a night alone in the wild. I look around for a suitable place to make my shelter. I find a small clearing where the ground is level and dry. I decide to build a lean-to shelter using fallen branches and some rope. I collect large leaves to cover the gaps in my shelter. The sun is shining, but I know it will set soon. I gather firewood to keep myself warm at night. My hands are already dirty and scratched from branches. I use my knife to cut some thin strips of bark for tinder. The tinder lights quickly when I strike my flint. Soon, a small fire is burning beside my shelter. I feel more secure with a fire because it can scare away animals. As the evening approaches, I start to feel hungry. I check my backpack and realize I only have 2 energy bars left. I decide to save 1 bar for breakfast tomorrow. I eat half of 1 bar to keep my energy up for the night. I drink some water and feel a bit better. The forest grows dark, and the sounds of birds fade. I hear crickets and the distant hoot of an owl. My heart beats faster because every noise seems loud. I add more wood to the fire so I can see my surroundings. I sit next to the fire and rest my head on my backpack. The temperature starts to drop, so I wrap myself in a thin blanket. I shiver, but the fire gives me some warmth. The stars above are bright, and I can see them through the trees. I try to calm my mind by thinking about home. Slowly, I fall asleep to the crackling of the fire. I hope tomorrow will be easier and safer. Day 2. I wake up early and see that the fire has almost died. My shelter survived the night, but I feel stiff and cold. I boil some water using a metal cup and leftover embers. I mix some wild mint leaves I found for a bit of flavor. The tea warms me and I feel a little stronger. I check my surroundings for any signs of wildlife near my camp. I see deer tracks on the ground but no fresh footprints of predators. It looks safe enough to explore. I decide to look for edible plants or berries. I remember that some berries can be poisonous, so I check them carefully. I find a small cluster of blackberries and test one slowly. It tastes sweet, so I gather a handful to eat later. Next, I look for more firewood because I need a bigger supply tonight. I discover a fallen tree and cut off some branches with my knife. My arms ache from carrying heavy logs back to camp. I place the wood in a pile near my shelter. The sun is high now, and I feel hot from the work. I drink the rest of my water, knowing I must find a new source. I follow a small path downhill, hoping to find a stream. I hear the sound of running water, which makes me smile. I come across a clear creek with fresh, cold water. I refill my bottle and carefully drink from the stream. The water tastes clean and refreshing. I collect some large leaves to carry extra water back to camp. On the way back, I notice some mushrooms under a log. I'm not sure if they are safe, so I leave them alone. When I return, I reinforce my shelter with thicker branches. The day is passing quickly, and I must prepare for night. I eat my remaining energy bar and some blackberries for dinner. I watch the sunset and pray that tomorrow I can find more food. Day 3. I wake up to a strange rustling noise near my shelter. I carefully look outside and see a small fox. The fox runs away when it senses my presence. My fire has gone out completely, so I gather tinder again. I'm getting better at starting a fire now. My hands move quickly and soon the flames catch. Today, I decide to set some simple traps to catch small animals. I create snares using thin rope and flexible twigs. I place them near animal trails I spotted yesterday. I mark the traps on my mental map so I do not forget where they are. After setting the traps, I walk deeper into the forest to look for new resources. I find a large rock and use it as a landmark so I do not get lost. I spot some wild mushrooms that look familiar from a survival book. I carefully check their shape and color before picking them. I decide to take just a few to test later. As I walk back, I hear rushing water and discover a small waterfall. The waterfall is beautiful and the water looks deep enough to wash in. I rinse my clothes and cool my body under the water. I feel more refreshed and clean. I notice fish swimming in the pool at the base of the waterfall. I try to catch one with my hands, but they are too fast. Next time, I might craft a small fishing spear or net. I return to camp and check my traps. One trap has caught a rabbit, which surprises me. I feel sad for a moment but remember I need food to survive. I prepare the rabbit carefully, giving thanks for the meal. I cook the meat over my fire, adding some wild herbs. The food tastes better than I expected. I save some leftover meat for tomorrow. Before sleeping, I hear wolves howling in the distance, reminding me to stay alert.